Okay, we're going to learn to draw basic shapes in Canvas. We're going to go from this blank to this nice little house with the sun on top. Okay, so here I just have a canvas with the ID game and line width is 5. I always like to begin with begin path, even though I don't have to for the first one. So let's do something like this. Let's talk about 2D coordinates and how we can manipulate them. Let's do ctx dot move to. Let's see where our 0, 0 origin is. Let's do ctx dot line to 0, 150 and ctx dot stroke. Okay, I want you to notice two things. Let me make this fatter. One, our origin starts at top left. We want to move it to bottom left because when we're drawing a game, it's easier to do it that way. Second, the positive y coordinate by default is going down for positive values and going up for negative values. That's why if I change this to negative, it's gone. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, ctx.translate, and we're going to translate from here to here. So the x position is 0, we don't move. The y position is canvas.height from line 3 here. Okay. So let's see, after I do that, it's not showing anything. That's because we haven't changed the negatives yet. See, to do that, you have to do ctx.scale. We're scaling by 1, but -1 for the y's. So now our y values go up for positive, and our coordinates are starting from the bottom left, which is exactly how we want it to be. All right, now I'm going to show you that if I call ctx.translate again, it's actually going to stack with this first one on line 10. So what I want to do is I want to move this line to the middle of the screen so that it can be this part right here in the finished product. Okay. So after I translate the origin from top left to bottom left, we're going to translate it to the middle. So after the scale, let's do ctx.translate again, and it's going to start from here, and it's going to move to the middle. So that is going to be canvas.width divided by 2, and we're going to keep the height at 0. And now you're going to see that our origin moved to 0, 0 is actually in the middle of the canvas now, right? And it also affects the line 2 right here as well. Okay, so let me change line width from 15. Let's change it to 7. And then now let's draw our house. Okay, let's make some variables so it's easier. Let's do const base width. Let's make our school or house, whatever, 300. Const base height would be 150. Actually, let's make it even better. Let's make it base width times 0.5. So this way it always scales. Okay, so now instead of this, right here, we can do base height. Okay, so in this line 2, we are at this point. We want to move it across here. But how much do we want to move it across? By the base width right here. So another line 2. And I'm going to change this to base width like this. Okay. And then now we want to connect it to the end. So base height will go from here to 0. So whoops. And I'm just going to change this to 0. And then let's do ctx.stroke style. Actually, let's fill it in. Fill style. It goes red. And then let's do fill. And we have our base rectangle. Okay, now where is our origin? Our origin 0, 0 is still right here. Now to draw the flag, I want to translate the origin up to here. So let's do that. Let's do ctx.beginPath. And then now I'm going to translate. Let's see where we're going, right? So right now it's right here. The x is not going to move, but the height will be our base height. Oops, 0, and then base height, and then ctx.line2. I always like to test it with this, 0, 150, and then ctx.stroke. Okay, that's not working because I forgot ctx.move to. All right, that looks good. And once again, this should be base height, like that. Okay, so let's do the flag. Now, let's connect it down here. So that's about negative 140 and up about 120. So let's see, negative 140. Let's do 120, see how it looks. Okay, that looks better. And then now we're gonna connect it to here, so it's a triangle flag. And that means our x is gonna be 0, and our y is just gonna be something like 90. Like this. Oh, 90. See? And this was a lot easier because we used translate, right? So we can take advantage of the 0, 0. Okay, now we're gonna move back to 0, 0, because from here we can now draw the roof. Okay, I put a note here that this is where the roof drawing starts. We use begin path, move to 0, 0, which is right here. Okay, so from here we're gonna do ctx dot line 2, and where are we going? We're going line 2 from the base width divided by 2 to the base height. And then, whoops, I have to do ctx.stroke so you can see it, right? So 0, 0, half the width and half the height will be right here. And then we can draw another line with the whole base width, and the base height becomes 0. And you're gonna see that it makes a triangle right here. And let me copy the fill styles. And let's change this to forest green. And there you go. We do have a roof. So now let's talk about how we can draw a half circular door right in the middle of this right here. Okay, so let's do the door. I always do ctx.begin path. Okay, and then let's try this. ctx.arc. Let's do 0, 0. Let's do the radius of 50, start angle 0. And since we're doing a half circle, math.pi. And then let's just copy this. Let's make the door pink for now. Okay, so we can translate this to here, but since we're doing an arc, which takes in a starting x and y positions, we can actually just move it from inside of this function call. So instead of starting at 0, 0, we can say start at base height, and then that is going to move it right there. And then for the y, we can do negative base height, and it's going to move it down here, right? Perfect. Now let's do the sun, and I'm going to show you something cool. So instead of pink, let's make this orange, and let's make this 0, 0. Okay, so I want the sun to be in the top left corner, right? But I don't know the exact coordinates for that because we've been translating it so many times. Our 0, 0 is right here in the middle. We can figure it out, but that's kind of hard to do. Easiest thing is I'm going to copy everything before this, right before the first translate. I'm going to cut. I'm going to do ctx.save, ctx.restore, and paste everything else inside, right? So then down here, oops, I spelled restore wrong. So now you see that our sun is in the top left. Okay. So what save and restore does, anything that you put in between all the translates and scales will only exist before the restore is called. Anything after, it resets the coordinates to the default, which is 0, 0 on the top left, and it also resets the scale, right? So y in the negative direction is now going up again, okay, since we are outside of the restore. But this is exactly what we wanted. Right? And here we were able to draw a quarter circle because our radius starts at 0, 0. Okay? It's actually kind of hard to draw a quarter circle the real way because of how the pathing works. Right? And here, even if you change the radius, you still get a quarter circle no matter what. Cool, right? And then the only thing we're missing is the background, right? But that's pretty easy. Let's see, we can go up here and just set it later.